Alright, try to get this camera angle right. Okay, folks, I'm here to talk to you today about my, I'm gonna give you a little history lesson plus an personal opinion following this history lesson. Okay, so we're gonna go back, we're gonna talk about early America, slavery, and we're gonna get in depth into that. Alright? And you're gonna see where this goes. So, slavery. Okay, where do we start? Because I was talking to myself about this earlier, actually. Right, but then I decided I was gonna make a video about it. Because why not? Why not spread the word? You know, spread my voice. You know. All right. So before chattel slavery, chattel is a word. I'm pretty sure it's French, and it means property. Now, that's what we had following the mid to late 1600s, 1660, 1650s, all that stuff. So we go to that time, and there's that's where we have chattel slavery. It's basically slavery. We know what it is. It's slavery where the African American is treated as if he is property. He is seen as property. He is treated as property. But also, we're going to go back. You know, check. We're going to go back to the not the 18. We're going to go back pre-chattel slavery. This is something called indentured servitude. Now, indentured servitude existed as a form of slavery. It existed before slavery. That's what indentured servitude is. Slavery. Before chattel slavery. That's what indentured servitude is. Basically, you got these slaves, you own them, and you have them for about 5 to 7 years. Now, and after that 5 to 7 years, countries vary what happens after that 5 to 7 years. But there's one thing that each country shares. Each civilization has ever shared. After that 5 to 7 years, or however long your indentured servitude is, you are free. You're free to do whatever. You are a citizen now. You're free of your slavery, your servitude. You can go have servants of your own if you want to. And for America, after that 5 to 7 year servitude, we had you get a couple of acres of land. I don't remember exactly how much, but I know that you also got weapons. And you got, pasture animals and stuff like that too. So what ended up happening is there's African American indentured servants, and then there's European white indentured servants. Now, after their servitude, the high class colonial generals, captains, officials, whatever, the colonial elites, the people who run the colonies at this time, Virginias and all that stuff, they would give these people the land, but they would also still be poor. So there's poor black men, black women, there's poor white men, white women. Now what ended up happening is they became friends. Yes. In fact, they don't teach you this, they don't tell you about this. White and black indentured slave Americans, after their servitude ended, they were friends. They didn't see color that much at that time. They didn't see under that. What ended up happening was they ended up taking all their guns, they got their arms, they got their numbers, and they went and go kick those fucking officials' asses. They went and go kick ass. And that's what they did. But, see, the European British and the British colonials of America, they were like, shit. These goddamn black people and these Negroes and these poor, dirty, white bastards. It's trash. They're coming and they're getting us. They think they can get us. We gotta do something about that. So what ended up happening was, and this, you do is research yourself. This is all facts. Because I researched it for you. But anyways, the elites, the British, Europeans over in Britain, and the rulers there, parliaments and all that stuff there, and the king, of course, and then the colonial generals, captains, officials in America on the colonies. They sought out an idea which was to create what we now know as racism. Racism was created to justify slavery. Not only are these former indentured servants coming after us, we gotta give them money and labor and buy them. So what they ended up doing was they first they created I'm saying created, they invented an ideology that black people were less than human, had a higher pain tolerance, and were less than human. Which, and since they had a less superiority, and they were less than human, they were more animalistic, which in some cases of tribes that is true, but we don't have to get into that. But they was like, they're animalistic, they're barbaric, and that justifies us owning them permanently. So they were like, okay, so since we're property like cattle and stuff like that, chickens and stuff now, they were like, okay, well then, so this is what we're gonna do here. They're officially permanent property. You can own them. They have a high pain tolerance, so if they're acting up, just give them a good old beating, and they'll get straight. That's what they did. But you think, okay, but why did the poor white people stop giving up and defending their black friends? Well, that was because during this time, if you were poor, you wanted power. You wanted authority. You wanted to feel in control of something. You wanted to have some kind of authoritarian responsibility. Because your whole entire life as a poor person, whether you're white or black, you were put down for being poor by people who weren't poor. So what ended up happening is the rich people decided, hey, you know what? You know that Negro, he's less than you. He's less than you. You could go beat him. You could find him. Go catch him. Do whatever you want to them Negroes. Tell you. You do whatever you want to them. You know, you got authority over them. They ain't nothing like you. You might be poor. You might be a bastard to me. But at least you ain't black. So, that started in 1600s, 1700s. So, we get decades every year, every decade, every century, every generation is retaught this ideology that of racism. And what happens is back then they had scientists employed by the government, by the way, creating, making up shit and telling these people that it was a fact of life. They had churches funded by the government, specifically ones funded by the government because people trusted to go out and say religiously that black people could help black people. So they misused the Bible. The governments misused the Bible and corrupted the churches. Corrupted churches, scientists, scholars, and government officials. Which back then, without technology or the internet, those are the most trusted mouths you can hear. So, what I'm going to say with that is that slavery was nobody's fault but the government. Just like they corrupt us now, just like they lie to us now, just like they trick us now, they tricked the same people back then without them noticing that they were slaves to the government. They worked for the government. The government was puppeteering the shit out of them. They didn't even know it, and they was owning other people, but they didn't know that they were owning themselves. That's what they don't want you to know. The government don't want you to know that you are their slave, no matter what color you are. No matter what background you got, you are a slave to the government. You are a slave to the elite. But back on track, let's go before slavery, Middle Ages, 1500s, 1400s, here. Europeans, France, British, Germans, didn't matter. Any European white could go to Africa, or an African could go to Europe and be treated perfectly equally as a human being. Why? Because they didn't care about race. They didn't care about how you looked. Unless it came to, like, mating, procreating. That's different. Everybody has different preferences. And I say that's nothing to do with racism. I say that's keeping the purification of an ethnic background. Like, let's put it this way. Let's say you're a white man, or even a biracial man like me. I'm 70% white, 25%, wait, no, it's 75% white, 25% black. And, thing about that is, for me, I don't find black people attractive. I don't. And what disgusts me more is the, popular culture that black people have developed that is very violent, it's very erotic, it's very non-modest, it's very unholy. Don't get me wrong, yeah, white people have unholy things too, but it's different when it's an entire culture that has been created, a pop culture, a media culture. It doesn't matter what kind of culture it is, it's still a culture, it's bad, and it's destroying their image, They got Christian values. They out there, doing whatever they want, just chasing that American dream. But they want in a modest, responsible way. They're not ignorant. They're not doing irresponsible things. And then there's the fact that I just don't find them attractive. So with that comes what I find attractive is fair skin and European features. And if I want to continue my bloodline having that, only that, as the creator of my family, the family that I will create, I have the right, to say, hey, this is the family rule. We gotta keep it. We gotta keep it in this group. We don't go to other groups. Not because we don't respect the other groups, but because that's just not what we want. Okay? And then you also gotta go by culture again. Different cultures, because we'll going back to the Middle Ages stuff. They were treated equally. The thing was, when you came to another country, what they cared about was religion and culture. Don't forget that, religion and culture. A Christian Ethiopian man could be tar-skinned black and come to any country in Europe. And if he was a Christian and respected their values and traditions, which means that God respected them, that was a big thing for them. Be rich, just like you do. But it could be a pagan white man, and they kill that so bad. They don't like the pagan. They don't like their culture. It's a religious thing. You have to come there and respect the culture. And as Christians, they did not like the pagans. The pagans were evil to them, so they were like, "Look, out the window, can't be pagan." But if you're a Christian, what you look like, you will. Now, think back. But it's also the whites mixing around with, white Asian mixing around like mixing it with other culture. You can't. You just can't do it. You can't preserve your own ethnic culture if you're bringing in other cultures that can't mix, they don't understand. When you come from a different background, it just ain't gonna work. You can look at about almost 80% of biracial relationships unless they share similar culture. That's just how it is. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, so yeah, that's my opinion, and that's the whole history thing that I wanted to say. It's just protecting ethnic groups, protecting ethnicity, and keeping your bloodline in a specific group, or let's just be blunt with it, purification of the ethnic background. No matter if you mix with something, like me, you want to, keep your ethnic background black, or you want to keep your ethnic background white. It doesn't matter. It's all about your culture. It's all about where you came from. It's all about your background. It's all about what you believe. And as long as you still treat everybody right, as long as you still treat people good, equally. If you don't like somebody, the way they do things, just stay away from them. You ain't got to say nothing to them. You ain't got to do nothing to them unless it's affecting you. Which, if it's not, you just don't like it, stay away from it. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with staying away from a group of people you don't like. You can have your opinions. You have the right to those opinions. But it is very unchristian and it's very unholy to go around and attacking and antagonizing these people if they're not affecting you. Now, if that group of people starts affecting you and your well-being and your family and your safety and your environment, then that's a different situation. Then you have the right to go out and do something about that. But otherwise, just keep to yourself. That's how it's supposed to be. It's just, man, we're human. We're human beings. There ain't ever gonna be, ever. We're animals, bro. We're animals. No matter how much we like to lie to ourselves and say we're better than any other animal, we are animals. All of us collectively, we're animals. We are capable of some very animalistic stuff, some very primal things. And at the end of the day, we're animals. I mean, look at early humans. They had like about 80 different species of humans, and guess what? We mixed with them a little bit, intertwined, but we also killed them all. There's none left. We're the last one standing. That's just human nature. It's human nature to say, people choose what you like and what you don't like. And if you don't like it, you stay away from it. And if what you don't like starts to affect your environment, you get rid of it. It's just as simple as that. That's animal nature. That's human nature. We are animals. That is written in our code. There's a lot of things that, you have that responsibility after having a collective moral intuition of right and wrong. Great, for early humans, for chimpanzees and all that stuff. It was very primal because we couldn't speak. So when we did that, it was instinct. And a lot of people go and say, "Oh yeah, but it's still instinct." No. Yeah, it might be biologically, but also we have a morality now. We can speak. We understand what's right and wrong. collectively based on morality, and that is inherently morally wrong. Once you become aware once you become aware of consent, and you know that it exists, then that logic goes out the window about it still being instinct, you know? But when it comes to groups and picking and choosing who you don't like and all that stuff, man, that is a principle of humanity. That is a core principle. That is a structure that holds us up. You know, you can't go without that. That's just human. There's no escaping that. That's human. And we just all gotta collectively understand that what's human is gonna stay human, whether you like it or not. And just know, the brave and the bold will always beat the weak and the frail. Because we're talking about real things, while people over here fighting about gender and sexuality and all that kind of fucking ramba jamba boo boo hoo hoo. Man, get out of here with that. Man, that ain't a battle worth fighting for. And nobody cares about that. You know? Nobody cares about that bullshit. But yeah, that's my little informational for today.